It invites us, to me, it invites us to be our authentic selves. In fact, it compels us to
Yes.
because
Yes.
it's weird. It's like the algorithm seduces us into being who we really are because if we're not, nothing else will work.
Woo.
That is what makes TikTok ring to me.
Welcome to the TikTok influencers you really should know about, the podcast dedicated to showcasing the remarkable individuals on TikTok who are making a genuine impact beyond just their good looks and celebrity status. From advocates for social justice to comedians who brighten our days, this podcast celebrates the diverse talents that make TikTok a vibrant community. Tune in to discover the influencers you may not have heard of yet, but you definitely should know about. Welcome back to the TikTok influencers you really should know about. My name is Christine Blosdale. I am a business success and media coach. And that means basically I take entrepreneurs of all stripes and I help them get the word out about their TikTok channel, about their books, about their YouTube channel, about their social media, all that good stuff. Anyway, enough about me because this is about my very special guest today. This is a dear friend of mine who I've known for many years, who has really saved a lot of people's lives. And she is just an absolute angel. And so I'm really happy that she is a creator on TikTok and her channel is blowing up, y'all. So you want to check her out. I'll make sure I have a link in the show notes. But my extra special guest today is Julia Loggins, who is a gut health expert of some, what, 40 years or something ridiculous?
More all the time. Do you know, it's crazy how ancient I am. But that's actually all works because the older we are, the more we learn about what does and doesn't work, and the
Yes.
braver we become, the less we care about what other people think, and which is all why we are perfect for social media. Do you know, I actually saw a young influencer, like really successful. He has millions of followers. And he said, "Hey, older people out there, older influencers who are afraid you don't have a place here. I want to know who you are. I want to know your story. Nobody has done what you've been doing for 30 or 40 years. We're just all beginning here." This is a kid who actually has a lot to offer. I follow him. And he just said, "I want your stories. Tell stories. Tell us what happened. Tell us what did not work. Tell us the failures." And I was really moved by that. So that's how I want to start out here.
Well, tell us the story. Tell us how you became this gut health expert that you are, because I know the story is actually really powerful and important, and maybe people can relate to it as well.
Yeah, well, because we all have a story.
Yeah.
And mine is that I'm almost 70. I'll be 70 in March. It's kind of amazing since doctors told me when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I wouldn't live past 17. I spent most of my first 20 years hospitalized. I was in, 19 different hospitals. I went through dozens of pharmaceutical drug trials. I had autoimmune disease, life-threatening asthma, rheumatoid arthritis, a gut that bled from head to toe. I'm also a trauma and sexual violence survivor, of which every person I've ever met in my 40-year practice who's a trauma survivor has gut health issues. And I never imagined I would become a gut health coach because I didn't know if I would live. My healing journey did not happen overnight, but I completely healed, had 2 beautiful children doctors told me I would never have, and realized in my 20s that my mission, that why I survived, I believe, was so that I could be present and hold space and share information for other people to heal what had been called incurable diseases as gut health. Inflammatory gut health conditions are called, and autoimmune conditions, they're called incurable, which is a powerful thing to tell someone that they will never heal.
Yeah.
And So that became my mission. And and I went through my own healing process, a lot of trial and error because there were no gut health coaches when I was healing. Doctors were in the dark ages, of which they still are in many places. And so I made a lot of mistakes. And luckily, my clients don't have to do that. I now have a great medical team and have learned a lot that I didn't know 40 years ago. A lot is the same. Things that are true are still true. It's simpler now. I understand I can help people heal faster. And what social media and writing books, which I've written for, has done is help me make my message accessible. And that's really important and something we can learn from social media and something we can also bring to it. And then also, I've had amazing guides and angels and mentors and people like you who came into my life and pulled me out of my office that I was living in 7 days a week and said, maybe people other than the people that you see every day should know about what you do, and let's do this.
Let's do
You know,
this.
and I did.
And the rest
Yeah.
is history, so to
Yes,
speak,
and
right?
then yes, and social media has been a part of that, and it's a huge joy of mine, and I love talking about it and sharing it, and I'm always learning.
Oh, I love that, and I love that about you, that you're open to always learning. But the TikTok journey, so, let's talk about that because
Yeah,
I know with me, and we were talking just a bit before we hit record, that, some people think it's just a bunch of teenagers dancing in their bedrooms, whatever, right? But
right,
but
and I
but
think it started that way, it's very far.
well, and what got you to take the brave step of creating a TikTok channel and start posting your videos?
My 30-year-old nephew, who was a pro soccer player for 10 years, got injured. While he was injured, he had to make a living. And he'd always been coaching kids all the time. He was an international pro soccer player. And he had learned because of his own journey what it takes to get scholarships for sports and then also what happens after you are not a pro anymore.
Mm,
And that had become something he created a channel on TikTok called College Soccer Guy and became extraordinarily successful. So successful that when he healed, he decided not to go back to pro soccer.
wow.
He created a whole world. And he said to me, Julia, you have to do TikTok. And I said, I'm way too old. You need all kids. I don't do all those dances. I don't even know how to do all those things. And he said, don't do the gimmicks. Don't even do that. Just be you. Just
Yes.
come on. You have to do this platform. It's made for you. It's less slick than other platforms. It's more accessible. You don't know how much fun you're gonna have on it, and I'm going to make you do it. So I started it and learned along the way. Sometimes I followed influencers who actually taught how to, make oneself more accessible or define the message, but mostly it's trial and error and, and having fun. And it is my favorite social media platform.
Same, girl. Same.
My life is all about TikTok and between videos, stories, and the lives, which are so special. And there is no platform that does the lives the way TikTok does.
Well, and it's the magical algorithm, right? It's what I like about it is that the algorithm is such on TikTok that it brings your tribe to you. And as
Mhm.
long as you do have somewhat of a clear message, I'm all over the place. If a psychologist looked at my TikTok channel, they would go, "You need an appointment," because I'm just like, I've got a little bit of everything all over. I've got some serious content. I've got some podcast clips of the shows that I've done. The TikTok influencers. I post some of those. I post some stuff from Out of the Box with Christine. I post some silly things as well. So I'm all over the map. And if the
Me,
algorithm was trying to figure
I
me
love
out, but if the algorithm was trying to figure me out, they'd go, "What the what are you?" Right? But that's okay because that's me. That's fine.
I know, and what I love about I follow you and look at every one of your posts, and what I love is every one of them is you. Every the one of
Mm,
them is an uncensored Christine, whether it's something deep in your personal life, things that you may not actually feel as comfortable to share on other platforms because of the welcome you're going to get on TikTok. And it invites us, to me, it invites us to be our authentic selves. In fact, it compels us to,
Yes.
because
Yes.
it's weird. It's like the algorithm seduces us into being who we really are, because if we're not, nothing else will work.
Woo.
That is what makes TikTok ring to me.
That is so true. That is so, so true. I was recently, well, a few months ago, as you know, I had top surgery and
Yes.
I was a bit hesitant about posting anything, but I was also kind of high on drugs, the surgery. And I was like, why not? Here I am in the hospital bed. And, it was very interesting because I had posted the video on both Facebook and TikTok.
Mm,
And on
that's
Facebook,
right. Good.
it was interesting because and it was in lovely, concerned friends and family,
Yeah.
right?
I saw that.
They were
Hmm.
very concerned. They were like, "Oh my god, you had a like double mastectomy. Are you okay?" They were thinking the
Right.
big C, the C word. I'm
Right.
like, "No, I'm happy. No, I chose this. I chose
Yes.
to go through this." And but it was lovely, right? But on
Yes.
TikTok, it was just like this, you know, beautiful outpouring
I
of,
know.
of support and no
It's
judgment. And
inspiring, also inspiring to young people. What I love is that, your transition at this time, like you're doing that at this age, is so inspiring to young people. It's also inspiring to other people to just say, it's never too late to be who you really are. It's never too late. This is the moment. And TikTok is that welcome community where, like you said, the people will just find you. Your tribe finds you. In fact, the more, like I said, the more I've noticed that about my work, the more I share, and I also have let TikTok teach me what it is people want from me.
mm,
I keep an open mind with TikTok, and that's what's worked for me, because the community I have and the conditions they're dealing with are not necessarily what I would have imagined that my community would have. Yes, I would imagine I always attract people because of my history with very serious issues, but it's become much more specific and people are in a lot of trouble. I think that's really the message that we learn on TikTok, because people are so transparent and vulnerable, is that people are so available in their heart and their mind and even in their pocketbook. They're so available for support and for sharing. And so when I respond to that group and make space for that and speak very directly to it, even if it seems like a tiny niche, then I get that feedback
yeah,
back. And I'm always just going, okay, it's not like I'm shape shifting myself to fit something I think society wants, but I am shifting to what my tribe wants, because I want to share, I want to give them what they need. And that's real, instead of what I think or and I've also noticed that it's really helped me let go of feeling like my success was based on how much money I made, and I've never been a great business person, Christine, you know that. But and so I've done a lot of things differently than some of the especially social media coaches would say that you should do to become successful. I've done things differently that have really worked for me because it worked for my tribe. And guess what? I've made more money this year than I've ever made.
oh, that's so good.
And I slashed prices on a ton of things, and I made my consults way more affordable, and I reached a lot more people, and I also discovered, and everyone who does TikTok is gonna get this if you really share some things. If you if you don't hold back in your videos, if you think, "Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna share the secret of what makes my secret sauce because, why will people ever buy an hour with me or my course or read my book if I sell it all?" Because I've had people on my lives come on and say, "I had no money. I've watched all your videos. I bought 2 of your products. I've done everything you said. I have now been pain and symptom free for a year. My doctor can't understand what happened. I never met these people. And I'm like, this is why I get up in the morning.
Yeah.
And then other people on the live call were like, You can heal? This is possible?"
Yeah.
What are we living for if not that? To be able to serve in that way.
Well, and you put the nail on the head there is, your whole, and it's ever since I've known you, you are the most generous in your time and your energy. And it's all about serving that person and making them feel better in their bodies. And this is something that we all, I mean, it doesn't matter what your age is either. There's
Yeah,
we the the whole thing about dis-ease, right?
yeah,
The
yeah.
uneasiness of our bodies, it originates in our gut, and we're not told that. And
No.
you've got kids that are running around, with autism and ADHD, and they're eating, McDonald's, and well, you're a kid, right? You think, I just
Yeah,
ate the Fruit Loops and the thing, they don't realize what's happening on the inside, and then how that sets you up as an adult for
right.
a whole host of issues, right?
Oh, so many things, and this is the cool thing about TikTok. You can talk about that. You can talk about all the crazy stuff, like you talked about top surgery. You can talk about poop. You can talk about there isn't anything really off limits on TikTok, and that's one of the things I love about that platform. It suits me as a person because that's kind of the type of person I am. I'm not a small talk person. When you and I met each other, it was like instantly we kind of share everything, and
Yes.
that's just who I am. Well, TikTok is that platform, and the people who are most successful on it, like them or not, even if I don't agree with their thing, they are totally transparent in their thing. But TikTok is like, "Hey, we're just looking for real here," and I love that.
Well, and it's the algorithm, because the
Yeah,
relatability, if you're relatable or you're entertaining, you're talented,
enter
then
yes.
it gets it. I just love it. I love the platform.
And the quirky personalities work, and I think by watching them, so if for me, when I scroll and I see a compelling video, it may not be on anything I'm interested in, but I like, what is it that pulled me in? It was the way someone spoke as if I was in the room with them,
Yeah.
as if they
Yeah.
pulled me to the girls' bathroom in high school and had to share a secret that they spilled. Maybe they were emotional. People cry on TikTok videos. I mean, they share the most intimate moments in that moment. The kinds of things where you're like, oh, I have to clean that up. I would never share that on TikTok. And I feel that for those of us who've grown up believing that things have to be slick to be successful, that we have to have it all together, makeup has to be perfect, or we have to have a male look or a female look, like we have to fit into a box. TikTok has blown up the boxes just like
Yeah.
we want to blow them up in our lives. And I love being part of that community because it's helping me continue to blow up that for me. And that has made my work more successful. So it's like if people are thinking, how does this actually, where's the bottom line on this? Like, how will this help my business? It'll help. I really wanna say to people, this will help. This will not only help your business, but you'll have more fun doing it.
Well, and as a media coach, I encourage all of my clients to have a TikTok channel. Some of them are kicking and screaming, but they're like,
Wow.
because
And what
the
is they
more,
afraid of? Like, what's the f
well, because they think it's for, it's crazy kooky
kid?
stuff. And I said, listen, the more you create the video content, because that's where you need to get your message across. So the more
Yes,
you do the videos, the more you do the editing, every time you're going to get
yes,
a little bit better, a little bit
yes,
better. But I said that you can put on your Facebook page, you can put it on YouTube, you can put it on LinkedIn. That one video that you do and you get across your message, you can reach more people. But it's a very powerful tool, and especially just public speaking, just, being able
right.
to communicate with the outside world or your potential customers or clients. It's really important to do this. And so
And
that's why
and we
it's
get
my homework
regular
for people.
yes, and we get feedback from the algorithm about whether something worked or not because when you're in the zone, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. I mean, I've seen creators who all they were talking about was crocheting or something that seems so quirky that you can't imagine they're gonna get 1,000,000 views, but they were so passionate in the way they were sharing it for that 1 minute or 2 minutes that I couldn't take my eyes away.
Yeah.
So guess what? This is why nobody else could either. And when I see those, I learn from that. And there's a couple of creators who just I've really appreciated, them sharing. And I also noticed that media coaches on TikTok are more, they share more of themselves than other places. And I think in our world, it's a place for us to all come together with diverse views and really hold that space for people who are different. I've learned about people who are different, and I've met people that were so different and learn things I didn't think I would. But for me, I think it's really helped me refine my message. And because I feel like if I'm not getting a lot of views on something I knew was important, I didn't say it right. I
Mm,
didn't communicate it in a way that other people understood. Well, I want to know that.
that's a great it's a
Talking
great
to me,
training
tell me
vehicle,
that.
isn't it? Yeah,
Right.
it is. It's a great training vehicle. And speaking of the feedback from TikTok and how well you're doing, I wanted to share, is it okay to share
Oh yeah.
one of your
Any
TikTok videos? This is one of your top.
Sure.
I wanted to share this with our audience so that they can get a feel. Number one, listen very closely, or if you're watching on YouTube, of course, watch very carefully. But this particular video talks about something that is very important to me because, and I don't not necessarily think that I have diverticulitis,
Diverticulitis.
but
Yeah.
I know that inflammation is a huge issue with me. And I know that there are certain foods that are just not good for Christine.
Yeah.
And I need to be reminded because they're yummy,
Right?
right?
They're
And
yummy.
they're yummy, and even when I went to go see Wicked the other day
Oh,
and I
yeah.
had to get a little popcorn and I remember in my back of my head, I'm going,
Oh,
you know what?
yes.
You're not going to feel
Julia's
well.
talking about
You're not going to
Mhm,
feel well eating popcorn. But good
mhm,
goodness graciousness, it's very hard to go to a movie without it. So this clip though did very well. And
mm.
I want to share that. So if you don't mind, I'll pull that up. Okay, so this one now, this video you had, I think this was like 2 million views or something
Yeah,
crazy.
it was too.
This was you got over 30,000, almost 31,000 little hearts. You got 2,000 uh, comments, and then
And you know
look
what?
at,
I answer every one of my comments,
I love
and that's
that.
the important thing for everyone to do, answer every comment.
Answer every comment. And I've got a tip for you too. Well, Julie, have you done this before? When instead of writing a comment, reply back, have you done the video reply?
Oh, yes, and you know what? I have done a video reply. I'm just learning how to do that better.
It's
I'm really
really good. Sometimes
I wrote the yeah.
yeah, sometimes the video reply gets more views than the actual original video.
Yes, isn't that true?
So that little tip for you, especially if you have a video that did okay, but there's a really good comment in it that you think it's juicy and you can help other people with it, then do the video reply and you'll see their little comment on that video and it gets sent back to them, but also other
If
people
you
will
don't
see it.
know how to yeah, if you don't know how to do that, the way because I didn't, and someone had to show me that you just under the reply, you just see the camera button, and you just click it, and that
Yeah.
will allow you to make the video.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this particular video, and I really love it because it's the 7 foods that trigger diverticulitis, colitis, and IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. But it's also like if you have inflammatory issues, this is really powerful. I also saw here too that it was saved 11,000 times or favorited, and it was shared 14,000.
You
Geez.
know, I know, you never know. This actually is one of the videos that fine-tuned me to my audience and created and really shaped all the offers I made this year and transformed my business.
This one
And
video.
yeah, because I learned that millions of people have diverticulitis and they are getting no help from it.
This is brilliant. Let's let our listeners and our viewers, those who are watching on YouTube, you can actually see this video, but let's play this for them because I just love it.
7 foods that trigger diverticulitis or other inflammatory gut conditions like colitis, IBS. If you have any of those or a sensitive belly, tap in. I'm Julia Loggins, a gut health coach and colon therapist of 40 years, and my specialty is helping you heal inflammatory gut conditions. Number one, corn. Corn of any kind. Popcorn, cooked corn, raw corn, corn in tortillas, no more corn. It has put so many of my clients in the hospital. Go for cassava tortillas instead of corn tortillas. 2, whole nuts and seeds. That's no right now. You can have nut butters like almond butter, which is more alkaline than peanut butter, but no nuts and seeds. And that includes chia seeds or whole flax seeds. Number 3, raw vegetables, especially cruciferous vegetables, but any raw vegetables right now. Raw salad, absolutely not. This can also trigger diverticulitis. Number 4 is wheat, not just because of the gluten, but because of the glyphosates. These chemicals bore tiny little microscopic holes into the intestine, and that is a setup for diverticulitis. So no more wheat. You're better off eating grains like rice, which is easy to digest, and go for white rice. Even though we're all conditioned to think brown rice is healthier, white rice is much safer for your intestines. No wheat. 6, spicy foods and hot foods. So you want to fall in love with the taste of food. Fall in love with Celtic sea salt, which is actually excellent for your body, excellent for your blood sugar, for your hormones, for your electrical system. It's an electrolyte. So fall in love with that. And you can also use fresh herbs, but no hot spices. That means no black pepper. 7, coffee on an empty stomach or alcohol. If you drink coffee at all, you want to make sure that you have food in your stomach and you want to put something in it like butter or MCT oil. Makes it easier to digest, easier for your belly, less acidic. Leave your questions here. I'm happy to answer them. Click to follow and hope to see you at our Happy Gut Tribe lives on Saturday and Sunday. Remember, if you have an inflammatory gut condition, you can heal.
Love that. You mentioned, except for the spicy thing, because I'm not a spicy girl, but I was like, oh, I have coffee on an empty stomach. I want popcorn.
It's funny. And you know what else about TikTok that people can indulge, which is be bold. Just say, don't do that anymore. Just stop doing that.
Do that. It's
Stop doing that. Don't do that. And you feel crappy when you do that. You know that. Don't do that
Oh,
anymore.
I know. And you know what?
It's very bold. People love that.
I just need you around me all the time, Julia Loggins, just to say,
Right?
don't eat that, or to slap my hand if I go to grab some popcorn.
Or hand do something else. I know.
Yeah.
And the funny on TikTok, which I love, people love humor.
Yeah.
You can be, and I don't mean like tell stupid jokes, just like you can just, I think the more that a person is themselves, then we become funnier. People love stories on TikTok. And I feel like also, like what that video taught me was about number one, like when that video got that many views, I was like, oh, I guess
Oh,
this is an audience I need to talk to. And,
absolutely.
and I did one recently that got 500,000 views on gastritis and H. pylori, another giant audience. You know,
You also
it's,
do blood type ones, which because I'm
I
an O
do,
positive.
I,
I'm O positive, and again, O positive. What do you say? What do you say about O positive? What should we avoid?
lots of protein and avoid the carbohydrates, tons and tons of protein. Avoid the carbohydrates, the sugar. There's more blood type O's than any other blood type. We're the first blood type hunter gatherers. Anything that wasn't around when the earth was a bazillion years old, don't eat it. So it's really animal protein and vegetables, whole fruits, and lots of protein, And the other thing that people love on TikTok is to be specific. So what does it mean to eat a lot of protein? Instead of 120 grams, which I tell people, I show them 120 grams means 4 servings that fit in the palm of your hand. This is the size of a serving of protein. And then I've also talked, like you heard me talk about wheat. Why not wheat? Because people are like, I'm not allergic to wheat. Well, it has chemicals in it, especially in America. I don't know about Australia, but if you're eating American wheat, it's full of chemicals. And I can talk about coffee enemas on TikTok. People ask, talk about, I've had videos get 1 million views that were about hemorrhoids. Nobody talks about hemorrhoids. So, guess what? I did research. Every single human has a hemorrhoid at some point in their life. Every
Wow.
single. So, it's a huge subject. So, every creator has a gift to speak on something that
Absolutely.
matters to someone
Yeah.
and the direct feedback that you're going to get. And believe me, like I do videos every day. I can do a video that I think was such a good video. I did one recently on mold, which is a huge subject, and it didn't get very many views. What that told me is that because people are starting to become very aware of mold sensitivity, so I must not have articulated clearly how to test for it, what the symptoms are, how to figure it out. I know it's on me. I know that. And I know that there's something about it that I will shift, and I'll talk about that subject at another time. Maybe it was also timing. Sometimes you just can't predict why something will work and not work in a certain moment, but it's all education.
Yes.
And,
It's
it's all,
training. It's training you and it's forcing you to focus in on the important things that
yeah.
people are resonating with. That's what
And
I
the
like about
editing,
it.
I've really worked hard on my editing. I'm not, I'm old. I'm like not
You are
technically.
not old.
Do you know what I mean? It's okay to say that in a way that I'm not 15 or 25 to where technology is like super fast and easy for me. So I think I've had to really work on having my editing be tight enough so that my videos are easy for people to watch and keeps their attention because when I look at people's videos that are seamless, it makes a difference.
Yes. Yeah. It means that it's like having a college degree. You took the time.
Claire,
You cared. Exactly. What you,
heard. The other thing
yeah.
for people to go live, I really encourage
Yes.
people. That is a big leap for people, for some people, for a lot of creators, I think, to do the live calls. So if you start these live calls, they which are easy to do and they're super fun, just be brave and jump in and start them.
Absolutely. So that was a tip from Julia Loggins. That was a TikTok tip from
Be
Julia.
brave and jump in and do your live calls.
Do your lives. I know I
Yeah.
have to do my live. I did a live a long time ago. I got to the number that I can do them, right? I started to do a
Okay.
live. And the thing is that in the beginning, like I was on there and there was nobody there.
Well,
And
that's what happens with
I'm
TikTok,
on
right?
camera talking to myself and I'm
Yes.
like, this is like weird. And then one
Yeah.
person, I could see somebody come in and I'm like, and
Yeah.
I start to get animated and
You
start
start to
talking.
talk.
And then they went away again. And
Yeah.
it was just, it was for me, it was a little too weird because
Well,
I was
you
like,
have to it's just about hanging in and doing it and
okay,
just letting people come to you because I started where nobody was showing up to, and then people show up and you answer that one question and then it does grow. I mean,
okay,
radio show. When you started your radio show, it's like all of a sudden it became millions of people. That didn't happen on day one.
okay. All right, I'll start doing lives. Julia
Okay.
Loggins told me to start doing some lives.
Well, and also post on your page when your TikTok live is gonna be so that people know and then they'll come find you.
Well, there you go.
That
It's good to
can
let people
promote.
know.
Yeah,
Don't just
and
show up.
do regular time every week. I mean, that's what I was told, and that's helped me.
Absolutely. Julia Loggins, it has been an absolute pleasure having
Oh,
you on
thank
this
you.
podcast. And I had to have you be one of the first guests on the TikTok influencers you really should know about because I love your work. I love your heart. I think that what you do is so amazing and you've helped so many people. You've helped me so in so many different ways. And so I just wanted to make sure that people got to know you a bit better. And we'll make sure that I'll put it in the show notes. There'll be a link to your TikTok channel. And
Yeah.
also there'll be a link to Julia Loggins, her website as well. You can check out all the stuff that she's got. She's got books, but most importantly, you'll learn a little bit more from Julia, but she's also got these amazing products that help you to have a happy gut and a happy life, and a happy gut is a happy life. I know this myself because I'm traveling this journey, and we'll have all those links in the show notes for people to check it out. But thank you again, Julia, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I
Love
love
you.
you, love you, love you.
Love you. Love
And
you.
do, I do. And I love you, love you, love you too, wonderful listeners and viewers. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, or even better, share the show with somebody that you know and that you love. And for those of you who want to find out more about this podcast, you can go to thetiktokinfluencers.com. If you want more information about me and my media coaching business, it's christineblosdale.com. Don't worry, all those links will be in the show notes for you as well. And until next time, we always say, just keep scrolling. All right, we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.